the night before the exam. The whole class stayed up all night to celebrate the class Belle's coming of age ceremony. This time, I didn't stop them, and I didn't alert anyone. Instead, I chose to join them when I couldn't beat them, and together with them, pour out the youth we never regretted. After all, I had already secured a direct admission spot at a prestigious school, one at 10 p.m. tonight. All classmates must come to Mai's bar to celebrate our class beauty Mang Xian's coming of age ceremony. I'll put down 10,000 yuan first. Each of you only needs to pay 800 yuan on average. I'll cover the shortfall tonight. Everyone drink and have fun to your heart's content. Class monitor song, See You, stood on the podium, passionately speaking into a microphone made from a rolled-up book. I sat at my desk, my mind still lingering with the pain of being corroded by sulfuric acid. I looked around in confusion and finally realized that I had been reborn. I had returned to the night before the college entrance examination on the day of the class beauty's coming of age ceremony tonight. No sleeping, no rest. If you're going to confess, hurry up and confess. If you're going to curse someone out, don't hold back either. Goethe said, every day that we do not dance is a betrayal of life. Starting tonight, we will take complete control of our lives, be the masters of our own future. Mang Xian stood on the table. She brought her whole set of words about loving youth before everyone. It completely ignited the atmosphere. No one is allowed to go to Nightshade tonight, and absolutely no drinking or singing at the bar. We should listen to the teacher. Rest and properly and take tomorrow's exam. My voice came out of my mouth before I could control it. All the classmates frowned and looked at me, none of them with a friendly expression. I hurriedly covered my mouth and looked wearily at Shu, whose face was dark with anger. Feng Shuyao, what do you mean? Do you have to go against us? Shu frowned and questioned me. Feng Shuyao, I know you don't like Xian, but you shouldn't ruin the mood like this. The top student, Gum Mufang, also spoke in a cold voice, accusing me. I pressed my lips together, remembering the scene from my previous life when I had urged everyone to focus on their exam preparation, only to be attacked by the whole class. As a study committee member, do you still want to go over the class monitor's head and complain to the teacher? If you don't want to go, fine. But what right do you have to stop us? Teachers and parents already bother us enough on regular days. Who do you think you are trying to control us? 2. Aren't you just jealous that our class beauty has looks and admirers? Class monitor song, Sishu and our academic genius, Gufing, both like the class beauty. Mang Xian, they couldn't win her over. So now they're trying to stir up trouble, right? The class beauty is beautiful, kind-hearted, and rich, unlike you, a mere snitch who only knows how to tattle. Who would ever like you? Song is my childhood sweetheart. We grew up together. He has always been the class monitor, and I have always been the study committee member. We have a perfect understanding and are always able to help teachers and classmates solve any problems with great care. Guang, on the other hand, is my greatest motivation in my studies. He is intelligent and eager to learn. We often participated in competitions together, taking turns occupying the first and second places. We regarded each other as our greatest rival as well as our closest and most like-minded friend once. The three of us were inseparable until our senior year of high school when Mang Xian transferred to our school. Everything has changed. 2. Mang Xian's behavior is bold. It stands out starkly against the dullness of senior year. Yet, it is so eye-catching and attention-grabbing. I have repeatedly warned her to prioritize her studies. Yet, all she talks about is wanting a youth without regrets. I have never denied the value of studying or the value of taking exams. But you also can't deny my definition of youth. I want to cherish the present, be the master of my own life. And I don't care how I'll live in the future. What I want is limitless youth. Her emotionally stirring words have attracted many followers, and after realizing my inability to change her, I proactively informed the teacher to educate her. After 1 or 2 times, Mang sian daget me. I don't know how she spread rumors about me behind my back. I gradually became the traitor in my classmates' eyes, known for tattling. Not only are Song Xiao and Gyumyuan constantly hovering around Mang Xian, even my classmates have started to gradually distance themselves from me. In my previous life, Song Gishu proposed to help Mang Xian celebrate her coming of age ceremony. I was the first to voice my opposition. Everyone simply ignored my advice. They scrambled to pull money to host Mang Xian's coming of age ceremony. I had no choice but to tell the teacher about it. The teacher took it very seriously and severely criticized the students and personally called every student's parents. But the students still kept it from their parents and teachers. Sneaked off to a bar in the middle of the night to celebrate Mang Xian's birthday in the class group chat. It's filled with their records of laughter and tears amidst the neon lights and revelry. Their fervent youth is concealed. The vibration of my phone woke me from my sleep. After seeing the group message, I didn't hesitate to inform the teacher and parents because they had changed the place for their revelry. Parents and teachers searched throughout the city. I also asked my parents to use all their connections and influence, found the road controller just before entering the examination hall. I sent those students who had been dazed by inferior fake alcohol into the exam hall, but they didn't thank me for it. Instead, after the exam ended, splashed sulfuric acid all over me. Only after death did I know Mang Xian did it to express her affection for Song Zishu, and Guang voluntarily accepted the first embrace from both of them, just as the three were locked in an intimate embrace. Unable to part, my dad arrived with the police, parents, and teachers and happened to witness the scene. The adults strongly criticized Mang Xian, Guing's mother, and Song Sishu's father. One tore Mang Xian's clothes. One pulled out Mang Xian's hair in full view of everyone. Mang Xian was lectured by the police and teachers. Mang Xian could not accept her pride being trampled underfoot. So she chose to leap from the window and died when I was lying in a hospital bed receiving treatment after being splashed with sulfuric acid. Song Gishu and Gufing often came to visit me each time they came. They brought curses and threats. Yet my hands could not move and I could not speak. My parents thought they were the only good friends in the class who cared about me. Let them come to the hospital room whenever they want. They even incited the whole class to spit at me. They threw me off a tall building, leaving me dead with no place to be buried. My parents were heartbroken and fell ill from worry, eventually dying one after another from depression. I looked up at each of my classmates present, clenching my fists. I took 800 yuan out of my pocket and handed it to Song Sish. Sorry, I shouldn't have ruined the mood. This is my share of the money. Keep it. Song was startled. You're going tonight, too. I nodded. Since I couldn't beat them, I might as well join them anyway. I've already been guaranteed admission to an overseas university. The college entrance exam is the only chance ordinary people have to change their fate. Since they don't cherish it, why should I care? Mangan also rarely managed to pull out a smile for me. Welcome to my coming of age ceremony tonight. Let's set aside hatred and welcome the wildest, craziest youth of all three. Under Mang Xian's lead, everyone sang an ode to youth. There were 20 classes in the senior year of high school. Everyone had joined in this grand celebration. Some teachers stopped it. They felt that doing so would make the students too agitated. As a result, they would not be able to perform normally in tomorrow's college entrance exam. There were also teachers who praised it. They believed that this kind of behavior was the vitality and passion that boys and girls should have. The gloom of the 3 years of high school suppressed the fervor that should have belonged to adolescence. The densely packed notes on the paper were the students bowing an obedient submission to the shackles of reality. The resounding singing was the students paying tribute to the selves they had held on to for 3 years. And even more so, a farewell to the life of the past 3 years. We will be free. We will take control of our own lives. To our youth, which will one day fade away. Mang Xian stood at the highest point of the corridor, shouting into a megaphone. Some admired her, some were infatuated with her, and some even dreamed of becoming her. But there were also faint voices speaking from the shadows. Someone who can't even control their college entrance exam score. What right do they have to control their own life? You're already this happy before the exam. Did you really never think you might have to repeat a year? They were never meant to be on the same path anyway. Only Song Shu and Guing would be fooled by her. Yes, their regret-free youth is wanting unrestrained rivalry. The regret-free youth I want is a bright and open future. 10 p.m. I arrived at Mi Bar as promised. Mang Xian, Song Xiaoyu, and Gumyuang were already waiting at the entrance. Compared with the boys' uniformly casual outfits, the girls revealing shorts and ultra-short skirts, especially eye-catching to the boys, especially Mang Xian. Every inch of her body radiated the pleasure of youthful vitality. Powder green eyeshadow, neatly braided pigtails paired with a metal punk outfit. Among the crowd, she was the center of attention. I know why you're here. Come on. Tonight's show won't be complete without you. Mang Xian looped her arm through mine, her warmth and enthusiasm very different from her usual self. After entering the private room, I found a corner and sat down. As the lights shone all around, the birthday song began. As the female lead, Mang Xian was crowned by everyone. She made a wish over the candles. May everyone here set sail after the college entrance exam, achieve their dreams, and become the person they want to be. When asked about her dream, Mang Xian said, I want to become a travel-based social media creator. No matter where you go in the future, I'll be on the road staying in touch with each of you one by one. So, tonight will definitely not be our last meeting. In the future, we can have many more chances to meet. Some people admire her as an eagle soaring with wings spread wide. Some people envy how freely and effortlessly she takes control of her own life. Must be nice. I also want to be a self-media blogger, but my dad insists I take the civil service exam. Yeah, my mom has been a teacher all her life and never seems to get tired of it. She still wants me to carry on her legacy. I won't even mention it. My grandfather's company is still waiting for me to manage it. I watched all this in silence. I had already seen that all dreams had long since been quietly assigned a price. They were just too young to understand the painstaking intentions of their parents and grandparents for neon lights and wine-swaying passion. In the end, Songeshu couldn't hold back and confessed his feelings to Mang Xian. Before Mang Xian could even reply, Gumyuing's confession soon followed. So exciting! The class monitor and the top student finally confessed to the class beauty. Ah, I really wish I were the class beauty, too. Whoever falls in love with me, I'd be completely smitten. Zine, hurry up and pick one. Now, would she choose? She definitely wouldn't. She was so immersed in the feeling of being cherished in the palms of the class monitor and the top student. So, she said, Sishu Muang, do I have to choose one of you? Both of them nodded firmly. She smiled instead. You know what? Loving someone shouldn't mean confining them. You all know how much I value freedom. So why would I be willing to keep dating you under the restrictions of school? Besides, your parents wouldn't want to see you with me anyway. She looked at me. Actually, Feng Shu Yao is more suitable for you. She can go to college with you, and she can become the kind of daughter-in-law your parents would approve of. Unlike me, I'll never have children in this lifetime, let alone serve my parents-in-law. So, I'm sorry. Guang's eyes turned red. If I promised to let you be as free as you want, would you be willing to give me a chance to pursue you? Manjon said nothing. She just smiled, tears in her eyes, just like the female lead in a youth novel, compassionate toward all beings. She never thinks the pitiful person is herself. Guang then took out his admission ticket and tore it up in front of everyone. Everyone was shocked. Even the music and light stopped along with it. I glanced sideways, and only then did I see the rosy flush on Gomoing's cheeks. He was obviously drunk on the other side. Sangashu also took out his own exam admission ticket and destroyed it on the spot. How can my love be less than Gomoing's Zen? I also need another chance. No matter who you end up choosing in the end, I will sincerely bless you both. What a resounding display of responsibility and accountability. The soda in my mouth nearly sprayed out. So hilarious. These two people, some students, had already sensed that something was a little off. But there were still a few fantasy girls over there making squealing, fangirl-like sounds. So brave. I'm almost crying. I want to have such passionate love. 2. Zine. How come your life is so good? Is life really that good? Ming Xian was abandoned early on by her cheating father and her mother, who worked as a prostitute living with the sanitation workers. She often did not get enough to eat. Her current thinness all stems from malnutrition in childhood. She did not take the college entrance exam because her academic scores were not high enough, and her family also had no money to support her in studying art or sports. She wants to become a social media influencer because she has no other way in if you had good parents and a good background, who would be willing to wade into waters that were already overcrowded. Manjan stretched out her arms and pulled Song Xishu and Goofing into her embrace at the same time. No matter what tomorrow brings, tonight we drink until we drop, to celebrate love, to celebrate friendship, to celebrate the bond we share as classmates. Her kiss, after brushing past the corner of Song's lips, moved to the edge of Guma Fanjing's lips. She said this was a kiss of friendship and didn't mean anything. As she said this, her gaze drifted toward me, faint and fleeting under the influence of alcohol. One wave after another of climax surged wildly. Someone reminded them that it was time to go. If they didn't leave now, they'd have trouble concentrating on tomorrow's college entrance exam. Mang Xian then snatched the man's phone and watch. She emphasized that anyone who brought up leaving again would be a traitor. Everyone chimed in and even voluntarily turned in all electronic devices. Among them, of course, was mine. It was already broad daylight outside. Traffic police and volunteers kept clearing the roads. Beware of congestion, lest it delay the students preparing for the college entrance exam. Strive for a year of spring and autumn and fight for a lifetime without regret. Sharpen your sword for 10 years to fulfill your grand ambitions. Seize the gao and display your might. In the private room, Mang Xian sang one anthem to youth after another. A brief revelry thought to last a lifetime. A long farewell, the feast of youth. In those hurried years, we hastily set aside promises too heavy to bear. Finally, half an hour before the deadline to enter the examination hall, not a single classmate from our class showed up. Parents and teachers were frantic. 5. Where is he? Have you gotten in touch? The teacher asked each and every parent. The parents shook their heads in despair. Who knows what time he snuck out last night? He won't answer his phone or reply to messages. Where on earth did this kid go? All the classmates have disappeared. Could something have happened? Call the police. Call the police. If we don't call now, they really won't be able to take the college entrance exam. Parents joined forces with the school to inform the police about the collective disappearance of the children. The police moved quickly and immediately zeroed in on Mai's bar. When they rushed into the private room, the people inside were sprawled all over the floor. Every single one of them had drunk too much. The parents hurriedly woke up their own children. A few students had faces as pale as paper and couldn't stop vomiting. The police tasted the liquor and cursed through gritted teeth. Damn it, it's fake liquor. So 110 and 120 worked together to take those alcohol-poisoned kids to the hospital. The remaining half, who were barely still conscious, were escorted to the exam venue by the traffic police up until 1 minute before entering the exam hall. The teacher was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. But seeing Sanggu and Guang arrive, she finally let out a sigh of relief. After all, these two were the top students most likely to be admitted to Tsinghua or Peking University. Gum Mufanging had always had excellent grades, and as long as he performed normally, scoring 700 points would be no problem. Song Sish's physical fitness exam score had already exceeded the admission cutoff for Tsinghua and Peking University Sports Institutes by 30 points. Even if he fills in C for every choice on the college entrance exam, the probability of being admitted is still extremely high. But unfortunately, the two were stopped outside the examination room by security. "Sorry, you two. Please show your admission tickets." The indifferent voice pierced into their eardrums like ice. They started rummaging through their belongings for the tickets, but ultimately found nothing. For quite a while, they finally remembered the absurdity of last night in order to express their love to Mang Xian. They actually tore up their own admission tickets with their own hands. Song Hang's mother watched the two kids, standing motionless like wooden stakes, anxiously, sweating profusely. "Where's your admission ticket? Did you forget to bring it? Think again. Maybe you left it in one of your pockets." This is the college entrance exam. It doesn't matter if you've been drinking or singing, as long as you do well on the test. Time is almost up. Take out your admission ticket. No matter how the parents of the two shouted Song Sishu and Gumoing could do nothing. All I can do is watch time tick by second after second. And at that moment, I handed over my exam admission ticket right in front of both of them. I walked into the examination hall. "Fang Shuyao, are you going to take the exam?" I paused in my steps. I don't know what they were thinking when they asked me that. In short, I didn't look back. I resolutely walked into the examination hall. From today onward, I will have no further connection with them. 6. After finishing the first subject, I came out, met a few classmates from the same class. They looked dejected, their faces dark with frustration. I've completely forgotten everything. I've been reciting classical poems for 3 years, but I can't recall a single one. Usually, I understand classical Chinese quite well, but why does it feel so difficult this time? I didn't even finish my composition. Me, too. During the exam, my head felt groggy, thinking I'd just take a nap and then continue answering questions. But I ended up sleeping until the exam was over. I really shouldn't have gone to Mang Xian's coming-of-age ceremony yesterday. Damn it. Coming-of-age ceremony. When I turned 18, I just got a piece of cake. Yet, I stupidly spent 800 yuan to celebrate her coming-of-age ceremony right before the exam. I didn't want to go last night, but I was afraid the class monitor, the genius, would say I'm not sociable. So annoying. I bombed the first subject. How am I supposed to take the rest now? All I can think about now is Mang Xian hugging Sang Shu and Guang, kissing them alternately. How could this woman be so despicable? We didn't drink much last night, but many of our classmates drank fake alcohol and ended up in the hospital. Looks like their college entrance. Exams this year are ruined. 3 years of hard work, all for one night of fun, and it's all over. Complaints filled the air. I walked past them. They saw me and involuntarily called out my name. "Fang Shuyao, how did you do on the exam? You usually have such good grades, and you didn't drink last night, so you must have performed exceptionally well." I looked at them, unable to see any sincerity in their eyes. I shook my head coldly. "No, just like you." I forgot everything hearing this. They indeed started gloating. The class representative couldn't even do well. The questions must be too hard. "Are you coming for the exam this afternoon? Then the rest of us aren't coming." Their eyes sparkled with an unimpressive kind of cunning. That sentence seemed to be trying to trap me in something. Having been reborn, I finally saw through the scheming in their hearts. I complied with their wishes. "Yeah, I'm not planning to come either." They heard my answer, and their smiles widened even more. "All right, let's skip the exams for the next few days and talk about it next year." If we can't get into Huara or Wuda this year, it's so we can get into Tsinghua or Peking University. Let's strive for one more year. There's a higher chance of getting into a key university if we repeat. They comforted themselves and hastily made a decision. And indeed, I had no intention of taking the upcoming exam. The school that granted me direct admission has already bought my ticket to fly abroad tonight. In a few hours, I will begin my life as an overseas student. 7. Yao Yao. Hasn't your dream always been Tsinghua or Peking University? Why suddenly do you want to go abroad? Mom was helping me pack my things while asking me. I couldn't tell her that my choice of Tsinghua or Peking University was only because of Song-Sishu and Guam. If it weren't for the friendship between these two, how could I have given up the opportunities overseas? There are auroras I've never seen before, grasslands and pastures I've longed for, and classrooms and laboratories I've been looking forward to. I simply replied, I had too much fun with my classmates last night, so I don't have confidence in doing well on the exam. After thinking it over, I don't want to waste another year since I've already been granted admission abroad. This path is naturally a good one. Mom rubbed my hair, saying, You've always been independent-minded and academically excellent. Whatever decision you make, your parents will respect it if you go overseas. Remember to call home often. I hugged Mom, saying, Mom, if I make it out there, I'll bring you both overseas to see the world. Just at this moment, my phone rang. It was Song Sishu Fong Shu Yao. Did you not take the exam this afternoon? I nodded. I didn't go. Why? I made an excuse. I wasn't confident, so I didn't want to go. He paused, then said, Is it because Gumu Fong and I didn't take the first exam that you don't want to take it either? I said nothing. His brows were already furrowed. The more I thought about it, the more I felt Song's phone call was ill-intentioned. The next second, I heard Guang's voice again. No matter why you didn't go take the exam, I'm telling you, we're not only skipping the college entrance exam this year, we won't be taking it next year either. When the time comes, don't go spouting nonsense in front of my parents and force us to repeat a year. We have decided to become travel bloggers together with Zine. I was taken aback, hearing their decision. I almost burst out laughing, but I couldn't let them notice how I felt, so I could only cover my mouth tightly, not letting them hear my laughter. And the two of them actually mistook me for crying. I knew it. Once this call was made, she'd definitely cry, but no matter what methods you use, we won't change our minds. As for the promise to go to Qingbei with you, we don't want to keep it anymore. You can go by yourself next year. The two voices were firm and resolute. On the other end of the phone, Mang Xian also spoke up. You two are really something. You knew Fong Shu Yao likes you, and yet you deliberately said those hurtful things to her. We were only thinking of her, trying to keep her from wasting her time on us. How many years does a person have in a lifetime to squander? We don't want to bear the responsibility of her giving up the college entrance exam. The call ended. The laughter of the three lingered in my ears. Dad drove me to the airport along the way. He kept giving me all kinds of reminders. Went through security. I said goodbye to Dad, lying on the premium business class seat the school bought for me. I slowly closed my eyes, forgetting one by one all the classmates from the past. More than 30 hours of flight. Fatigue swept through my entire body. With the help of my seniors, I found my dorm room, a single room with a private bathroom. The conditions were excellent. After sharing dinner with the senior girls I was living with, I fell over and slept until dawn. Sunlight filtered through the curtains and spilled onto my eyes. I slowly opened my eyes and my phone was vibrating cheerfully beside me. I unlocked my phone and saw 99 plus messages in the class group chat. They were all parents and teachers scolding the students. I glanced at the clock. Right now in China, the last exam of the day should have just ended on June 10th. The anger I had been holding in for 4 days finally burst out at that moment. 8. Guang, you're simply too disappointing. We agreed you'd get into Tsinghua or Peking University and become a scientist. And now you've actually gotten mixed up with Mang Xian and gone off to be some kind of travel blogger. Where's your brain? Did you eat it or something? Sangsh, you're a sports student, and after all that hard training, you finally got level 1 athlete certification. And after all that effort, you were admitted to the Tsinghua and Peking University School of Physical Education. And yet you deliberately skipped the exam. Do you think you're going to the heavens or what? 3 years. 3 years of hard study in high school, getting up earlier than chickens, and going to bed later than dogs every day. And then for these 4 exam days, you skipped every subject. Who exactly are you being fair to? I don't need you to be fair to me. Think about your parents and how much hope they've pinned on you. Gu Mufang and Song Xishu were scolded harshly by the teacher. Parents also began speaking up, venting their anger at their own children. Of course, no one forgot the culprit behind all this, the one who started it all, Mang Xian. Mang Xian. It's one thing if you don't study properly on a regular basis, but why did you have to drag the whole class down with you? I thought you were just poorly raised without parents to teach you, so your manners were bad. But now it seems you're simply vicious, rotten to the core, a stupid, evil piece of trash. Guang, Sangshu, and those other male classmates who went crazy confessing their feelings to Mang Xian. Open your eyes and take a good look. This is the so-called class beauty goddess you kept talking about. Then a parent threw Mang Xian's photo into the group. The group exploded like water in a boiling boiler. Holy crap, so disgusting at such a young age. No wonder her family is so poor. Where did she get the money to keep making herself up every day? Look closely, all of you. This goddess who pursues freedom and youth without regret has long since been tainted. Gumming, your dad even invited Mang Xian to drink yesterday. Gumming was called out. He surfaced, and without caring about the consequences, judged the photos to be fake Photoshop edits. But parents, in a fit of anger, didn't care that the person on the other end of the phone arguing with them was only an 18-year-old adult child. They simply released a video of Guang's father clinking glasses with Mang Xian. Photos can be photoshopped, but videos can't. I used to consider that Mang Xian was a girl and that her family was in poor condition with her grandparents working as sanitation workers. I pitied her and didn't publicize what she was doing outside. I never expected that this would dare drag the entire class of students down with her so that they'd fail to get into college. Song Siyu, look carefully. Does a girl like this really deserve you to go and be some damn travel blogger for her? The students fell silent. No one spoke up for Mang Xian anymore. No one shouted those slogans about youth with no regrets anymore. Yes, just parents' rage, teachers' hoarse shouting, and the school's utter disgrace. If students know how to make absurd edits and photoshops, the parents naturally won't be outdone. The group chat was filled with absurd edits and Memorial Hall photos of Mang Xian. Dozens of adults took turns hurling verbal abuse at a teenage girl in the prime of her youth, along with curses directed at her ancestors. Of course, a few of them even went to Mang Xian's home in front of Mang Xian's grandparents. They told the 2 old people little by little about the things Mang Xian had done at school and in bars and nightclubs. The 2 elderly people had lived their whole lives with caution and restraint, enduring suppression and abuse all their lives. Now, because of Mang Xian's matter, they're already stooped back a little further. A dilapidated little house with a yard littered with trash. Everything was telling the parents one thing. Mang Xian had not a shred of backing behind her. Even if everything was smashed to pieces, Mang Xian had no ability to resist. Mang Xian came back after accompanying someone in singing and chatting only to find her home turned into a heap of ruins. She declared that she would seek justice for herself, but her grandparents grabbed a broom and struck Mang Xian again and again. Each blow was delivered as if they meant to beat her to death. They were terrified that Mang Xian would become like her mother. 9 Mang Xian ran out of the house. She wanted money from Song Tsishu to buy a train ticket to Tibet. Sang Saishi was closely controlled by his parents, and even contacting Mang Xian had to be done in the middle of the night, hidden under the covers. He couldn't bring himself to let go of Mang Xian. Yet, he also didn't want to keep associating with such a filthy, disgusting person in his confusion and inner conflict. Mang Xian once again unleashed her almost pyramid scheme level persuasive speech. What? Because I'm poor. You don't want to be friends with me anymore. Because I earn a living with my own hands. You don't like me anymore? Song sees, ask yourself honestly, when I was with you, what did I ever want from you? I thought what we had was real. I never expected you to be as superficial as they are completely unable to understand me. Let's hear from now on, let's never contact each other again. She cut off the relationship between them. First Song was once again bewildered. So heedless of everything, he stole the gold bars from the family safe and rushed toward Mang Xian. Muang was the same for the first half of his life. He had grown up under the expectations of his parents and teachers. He had long wanted to rebel for once, long wanted to get far away from this place. Besides, he detested his parents, especially his father, who had defiled Mang Xian. When emotion overcomes resignation, he took his savings and resolutely set off on the journey to Tibet. The three of them reunited once again. This time, no one would separate them. 2 months of summer vacation. The parents of Song Shu and Guang were once again driven frantic, searching for them. In front of the Podal Palace, their mothers earnestly praying for their children. Fathers who have turned over a new leaf. Couples in love about to get married. And even influencers who have come just for traffic. But no matter what kind of person is here, none of it compares to the scene of a group of parents surrounding a girl. It is far more thrilling and shocking. Manjan, what on earth will it take for you to let my son go? I'm begging you. I really am begging you. Go torment someone else. My family only has Song Su left. It's my fault. If I had known you were guffing classmate, I would never have taken you to the hotel. Let goofing go. If you want revenge, take it out on me. You too have lost your minds. Feng Shu Yao is so good. Why don't you look at her more? Why keep entangling yourselves with this Gumu Fong and Songishu? Both had bruises on their faces. But even so, they still shielded Mangzi and tightly behind them. What's so good about Feng Shu Yao? She only knows how to study and doesn't understand the true meaning of youth. In the end, didn't she still fail the exam? We gave up the college entrance exam for Xian and Feng. Shu Yao gave it up for us. We're all cut from the same cloth. You hate Xian just because we're your sons. Feng, Shu Ya's parents probably already hate us to the core. The parents broke down and shouted, "What are you talking about?" Feng Shu Yao had already been admitted to a top overseas university before the college entrance exam. How could she possibly give up the college entrance exam because of you? Who do you think you are? Only at this moment Sishu and Guang finally came to their senses. She got admitted to a top overseas university without the entrance exam when impossible she got in through guaranteed admission. How could we not know she was so attached to us? 11. 2 months of bickering and noise. The parents finally gave up on their son. They were only in their 40s, right in the prime of their careers, shining and making their mark in their respective fields. Once they deeply realized that their son had been spoiled beyond saving, they no longer wanted to put any more effort into him. Sangishu also had a younger brother at home waiting for them to support. Gumwang's parents were divorced, and each had already found a new partner. In the end, they were going to start a new life. And so after the parents' interference was gone, the three of them officially became travel vloggers. No matter how beautifully the videos were made, posting them online still failed to stir up even the slightest ripple. I've seen classmates share their videos on Moments. The videos were all about celebrating passionate youth. But the comments beneath every one of them talked about how Mang Xian had once dragged the entire class into not taking the college entrance exam. The comment section was so filthy I couldn't even bear to look at it. With such a reputation, who would want to follow them? Some bloggers even studied them just to build their accounts mocking them. 12 classes start in September. I saw a classmate on WeChat Moments say that Song Sishu and Gufoing had returned to the repeaters' class laughing so hard. I actually used to envy them for being travel bloggers getting to play around everywhere every day. And now look, they've come back to study with not a penny left. For the first quiz, the two adorable dummies both picked C. Back in the day, they were the domineering class rep and the top student. How did they end up like this? Wasn't it because of Mang Xian? Their money ran out and Mang Xian went to a bar to take up her former line of work in order to support them. But they were ungrateful and even beat her up, and they split up on the spot. At the beginning, the classmates only set their moments to be visible to certain people, quietly mocking me later to find a bit of fun in the dreary final year of high school. They directly chatted in the class group. Every time I turned on my phone, there were 99 plus messages. With no other choice, I changed my phone number. At last, the world finally fell silent. 13, for years later, I graduated with my graduation scholarship in hand. I brought my parents overseas to experience a bit of foreign scenery. With support from the local Chinese community, I successfully started a business and threw myself wholeheartedly into robot design. 5 years of hard work. The Hunga Municipal Investment Department got in touch with me. They hoped I could return to China to start a business and were willing to offer me tax exemptions and reduced rent. I was filled with longing and set off to return home at once. The company is located in Future Science City here. Rittery entrepreneurs can be found everywhere in a strong atmosphere of technological innovation. The robot developed by our team appeared on that year's Spring Festival Gala, attracting the attention of people across the country. Everyone said that home service robots as household nannies would become a reality in the not-too-distant future. 14.5 more years passed. The in-home robot nanny I developed received praise from all sides as soon as it hit the market during the process of expanding production capacity, scaling up marketing and enlarging the market. Those in the traditional domestic services sector began to take to the streets to protest against my company. Faced with this scene, I had to sigh. Technology changes life, but technology can also block the path forward for people. For this, I set aside half of the profits to comfort domestic workers around the world who had lost their jobs because of robots, because there were too many domestic workers. All my efforts at reassurance could do was provide them with food and shelter. I couldn't offer any better conditions. Some kind-hearted Nizans uploaded footage from the company's welfare home to the internet, drawing a great deal of attention and prompting many people to donate to ensure they could have 3 meals a day. While browsing related news, I accidentally saw 2 familiar figures among them. That's when I remembered my former high school classmates' log into the original account. The messages in the classmates group still showed 99 plus, but this time they were no longer talking about Mang Xian. Instead, they were talking about my success. How on earth did we get brainwashed by Mang Xian back then to actually think that the college entrance exam wasn't as important as youth? How did I not realize Feng Shu Yao was this amazing back then and instead choose Mang Xian as my goddess? I'm dying laughing. Back then, I even turned down the chance to go to Tsinghua and Peking University with Feng Shu Yao. Song and Guangying were especially hyped in the discussion. They said that if it weren't for the orphanage I built, they probably would have already died, just like Mang Xian. When asked how Mang Xian died, the 2 of them said they didn't know. They only said, "A woman like that is better off dead sooner rather than later." 15. After the company I led developed a home entry robot nanny. It then moved into the field of medical caregiving. Strive so that in the not-too-distant future, robots can permeate every aspect of our lives, even land on the moon, explore outer space, and open a new era for the world. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My college roommate Lynn has a poor memory. She was the class representative for an elective course and mistakenly recorded my score of 96 as 69 when helping the teacher register grades. The teacher asked her to correct it, but she forgot. As a result, I dropped from first place in my major to third place. The dorm's supervisor issued a notice that prohibited items would be inspected the next day. But Lynn happened to forget to put away her small electric pot that day. This resulted in the entire dorm being marked for disciplinary violation, and my academic scholarship was also revoked. Later, she secretly brought her drunk boyfriend back to the dorm and forgot to take him away. This led to our dorm becoming famous overnight, and everyone's reputation was ruined afterward. Lynn just looked innocent and said, "I am sorry. I didn't mean to. I just have a bad memory." I slapped her several times hard, and we ended up wrestling, only to be pushed down the stairs by her opening my eyes again. Lynn tearfully spoke up, sharing, "I'm sorry. I made a mistake entering your score." I raised my hand and slapped her. "If you're wrong, then correct it. Now I'm watching you fix it." When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in front of the computer. On the screen was my elective course grade, 69 points. But earlier, I had seen the score on the paper transcript at the elective course teacher's office, and it was 96 points. Shocked, I was wondering what to do. Lynn walked into the dormitory, humming a tune, in a very good mood. Lynn was the class representative for this elective course, responsible for helping the teacher record grades. Just like in my previous life, I opened my mouth and asked, "Lynn, why did I only get a 69 in my elective?" Of course, Lynn widened her eyes in surprise. "No way," sharing, "Your grades are so good, but I didn't know that either." I rolled my eyes at her and immediately called the elective course teacher. "Teacher Lee, this is sharing. I previously saw my grade as 96, but now the system shows it as 69. It must be that Lynn made a mistake when recording the grades. Have Lynn correct it? She can still fix it for you now." I said to Lynn "Teacher Lee said you should help me change my grade." Lynn glanced at the report card and walked over sobbing as she spoke, sharing, "I'm sorry. It was my mistake in recording your score." I raised my hand and slapped her. "If you're wrong, then correct it. Now I'm watching you fix it." Lynn was stunned by my sudden slap, standing there in a daze with teary eyes because I have always been a person with a very good temper and have never lost my temper with my roommate, even though she sometimes accidentally sprays my expensive perfume on her friends, mistaking it for floral water. Sometimes they borrowed my homework to copy and accidentally lost my notebook. Sometimes they accidentally took my umbrella by mistake, causing me to get soaked on the way back to the dorm. I never lost my temper. In my previous life, I just spoke to her politely, asking her to correct my grades, and she readily agreed. After the revision period passed, she claimed she had forgotten. This caused my GPA to drop from first in the major to third. Yet, she showed no remorse, saying she just has a poor memory. Now, Lynn is covering her face and crying. "Is it really worth getting so angry? I just have a bad memory. I glanced at your grade and forgot it. That's why I registered it wrong." Looking at her comical appearance, I laughed. "So, I'll watch you change it now, in case you forget again." Lynn fidgeted awkwardly, wiping her snot bubble with her lace sleeve, sniffling as she said, "Shuring. My computer is still in the library. I'll go and change it." I shook my head and gave an understanding smile. "It's fine. Use mine." Then I pushed my laptop in front of her, staring at her intently. Lynn had no choice but to reluctantly log into the grading system and correct my score. Just as Lynn was about to log out of the system, I grabbed her hand. "Wait, your score doesn't seem right either." Lin were suddenly panicked at the sight. No, I've checked it many times. There's definitely no mistake. With that, she logged out of the system, handed the computer back to me, and hurriedly picked up her bag before leaving the dorm. I clearly saw that she had registered 90 points for herself, but she only scored 70. I immediately sent a text message to teacher Lee informing her about Lin row 41 minutes and 18 seconds. 800 grades. As soon as Lin row returned in the evening, she threw her backpack heavily onto the floor and shouted loudly, "What if she just has a bad memory, helping the old lady as a class representative and still getting scolded by the old lady? It's so infuriating." Lin immediately ran over to comfort Lin Rue kindly. "Ruru, what's wrong?" Lin Ruru sobbed. "I just accidentally entered the grades wrong, and teacher Lee scolded me." Lu Yan also joined in scolding teacher Lee. Lin Rur stopped crying, stood up, and walked over to me, shuring, "It's all your fault for insisting on calling teacher Lee, which got me scolded. Are you happy now?" I laughed. My grade was recorded incorrectly. Isn't it only right to ask the teacher to fix it? Seeing that she was in the wrong, Lin Rura started crying again, her nose running. "Why are you being so harsh?" Lin walked over looking righteous and unyielding, sharing, "Why are you being so harsh on her? If Roro Ro made a mistake entering your grade, you could just ask her to fix it. Why go and complain to the teacher? Such a small matter, and you have to get Roro scolded after saying that." She glanced at me and pulled Lin Ro away. "Roro Ro, let's ignore her. She thinks she's so great just because her grades are good." Zaiwi happened to walk in from outside. "Hurry up and check your scores. I just checked my elective course grade, and it's 10 points higher." Li Yen opened the system with a puzzled look only to find that she had gained 5 points after realizing what had happened. Her face turned pale with anger. "Lin Ro, how many people's scores did you enter incorrectly?" Lin Ro panicked instantly, her eyes beginning to dart around nervously. What if she just has a bad memory? What if she didn't do it on purpose? Bad memory? I think you're just doing it on purpose. I really thought I failed, and you almost made me have to retake the course as she spoke. Lian's voice grew louder. Her face flushed with anger when it came to her own situation. Lin suddenly wasn't so magnanimous anymore if I hadn't noticed. They wouldn't have even realized their grades were recorded incorrectly. Later, Lai Yen asked around and discovered that Lin Ro not only recorded our grades incorrectly, but also added a few extra points to the scores of the handsome and wealthy boys in the class. She deducted points from the grades of several girls she had secretly criticized, with the more disliked ones losing more points to make amends. Lin Ro offered to treat our entire dormitory to milk tea. I directly refused Lin Ro's milk tea. Lin Rur's eyes were red, and she spoke in a coquettish tone. "Darlings, I really didn't mean it. You can hit me, scold me, but please don't ignore me." As she spoke, she grabbed everyone's hands to hit herself. When she reached me, Lin Rur suddenly stopped, afraid that I might actually hit her again. I calmly said, "Do as you please. I've already hit her." Zaiwi suddenly froze, her eyes showing a hint of admiration, sharing, "How did you suddenly become so tough?" Lu Yan's words, however, carried a hint of sarcasm. "It's not that serious, right? I wouldn't be so petty as to hit a roommate over such a small matter." Lin Ro immediately stepped closer to Lu Yan. "Yan Yan, you'll forgive Ro Ro, won't you?" Lu Yan said, "We've been roommates for a year now, since she sincerely apologized. Let's forgive her. After all, we're an outstanding dormitory." Rue has always been a bit scatterbrained. She might have just had a momentary lapse in judgment, but deep down, she's not a bad person. I just smiled and didn't respond. Lai Yan and Xiao Hui accepted Lin Rur's milk tea. As they drank the milk tea, they choked and spat it out because it contained a lethal amount of sugar. They stared at the label and fell silent. "My roommate likes it sweet." 100% sugar. The dorm group chat suddenly became lively. Lean Linro, are you crazy? 100% sugar. I hate sweet things the most. Didn't I tell you not to add sugar? Zioi. I don't like sweet things either. It's sickeningly sweet. Lin Ro Woo Woo. I'm sorry. I remembered wrong. I remember you too, like sweet things the most. I'm so stupid. My memory is so bad. Woo woo. Because the grades were changed back. I became the top student in my major as long as there are no disciplinary deductions. According to the grade ranking, I can get the first class academic scholarship this time, which is 6,000 yuan, just like in the previous life. The dormitory supervisor sent a notice in the dorm group chat in the evening. Building-wide dorm inspection tomorrow, 9/00/12/00, because the school's policy follows a collective punishment system. If any prohibited appliances are found, the entire dorm will be recorded as a violation. This directly disqualifies them from awards and honors. Last time, after we all left the dorm, Linrura took out her small electric pot and placed it on the table. When I returned, my world collapsed. My 3,000 yuan third-class academic scholarship was gone along with the titles of 3 good student and outstanding student cadre. This time I lingered in the dorm without leaving. Seeing this, Lin Ruru hurried over to me with quick, small steps. Shearing, why aren't you going to class yet? I don't feel like going. Aren't you not going either? Left speechless by my retort, Lin Ruru instinctively lowered her eyes, looking at the floor. I'm about to leave now. Before leaving, she deliberately placed the small electric pot on the chair, which was positioned under the table. Although it wasn't as obvious as being on the table, a quick glance would reveal it. After she left, I walked over and threw her small electric pot directly into the outside trash bin. When she returned to the dormitory in the evening, Lin Ruru was puzzled to see that our dorm hadn't been marked for any violations. I ran to question the dorm supervisor. Auntie, I forgot to put away my small electric pot this morning. Why wasn't our dorm marked for a violation? Were you not thorough during the inspection? The auntie looked helpless. I didn't see any small electric pot. What should I mark? Lin Ruru pulled the auntie back to our dorm and demanded that she search our room carefully. She rummaged through her entire cabinet and drawers, but couldn't find the small electric pot. Where's my small electric pot? That's strange. I left it on the chair this morning. I spoke up with concern. Lin Ro, don't you have a bad memory? Maybe you never actually bought a small pot. Lin Ro slowly stopped what she was doing. I just have a small electric pot. As she spoke, she began scrolling through her purchase history, but couldn't find it no matter how hard she looked. Of course, she couldn't find it because that pot was actually a classmate's small electric pot that she had brought back when her memory was failing. During the first class gathering, everyone brought small pots to the classroom to secretly cook Odin. As a result, Lin Roro Ro brought back a small electric pot, just like that. The aunt was speechless, turned around, and left. Lin Ro sat down on the seat, dejectedly. I clearly remember putting it on the seat this morning. How did it disappear? Shuring, you left later. Have you seen it? I raised a gentle smile. Why did you put the pot on the stool this morning? Didn't Xiao Hui emphasize the dorm check today before leaving? Lin Ro shot me a glare. Her eyes filled with the panic of being exposed when I was packing my things. I just put it down casually and forgot to put it away. I specifically told you and you forgot right away. If we get marked for a violation, well, lose credits, and earning them back costs money. Are you going to pay for everyone? This time Li Yan and Xiao Hui also did not believe Lin Ro, and they both condemned her. Violating discipline will also result in a deduction of credits, which can be made up by taking additional courses. Lin Ro was willing to suffer 800 losses herself in order to inflict 1,000 on the enemy. Lin Ro tearfully video called her boyfriend. I got scolded by my roommate today. Boo-hoo. It's all my fault. My memory is really bad. A deep, resonant male voice came from the other side. My sweet baby who scolded you. Let your big brother see. As she spoke, Lin Ro panned the video over Li Yan and Xiao Hai. Li Yan was changing her clothes and let out a startled scream. Damn! Lin Ruru, what are you doing? I'm changing clothes. A low whistle came from over there, and Li Yan shot a glare at Lin Rura's phone. Xiao Hui was sprawled out on the bed, playing with her phone. When the camera panned to me, Lin Rura hesitated for a moment. A low, booming voice came from over there. Ro, where's the other one? I remember that one was the prettiest. Lin Roro Rose's phone continued to scan my face, and I raised my hand and slapped it. Everyone was startled by the sound of the slap. Lin Ro's phone fell to the ground. Shuring, why are you hitting me again? Thinking about how she used to secretly film me changing clothes to show her boyfriend, I feel a wave of disgust. I've already reminded her with a cold face many times, and each time she says, I have a bad memory. I thought you didn't mind before. I thought since we're roommates and have to live together for 4 years, I should just endure it and let it pass. After dying once, I realized my breasts are important too. I was furious. This is a girl's dorm, not your boyfriend's live stream. Yeah, Lin Ro, can you be a little more normal? I was changing clothes, and you're filming the dorm for your boyfriend. Exactly. Can you have some sense of boundaries? Lin Ru covered her face, sobbing and sniffling. What if she didn't know you all disliked this? Wacy thought you all had great figures and enjoyed showing them off. What the hell? Is this the kind of thinking an educated girl should have? Likes to show off to her loser boyfriend. Slap. Another slap. Lin Ruru covered her face and stomped her foot angrily. Shuring, I'm not talking to you anymore. You meanie. Boo-hoo. You're bullying me. The phone kept playing a deep, resonant voice saying, Robar, rower. Hearing her cry, I couldn't help but play a song and sing along. What kind of rhythm is the most? Oh, the most swinging. What kind of song brings the most joy? Li Yan and Xiao, we couldn't help but hum along. The dormitory gradually filled with singing and laughter. Lin Ro, holding her phone, ran out of the dormitory in tears. Soon an unfamiliar number called me. The voice on the other end was a low, booming tone. Sharing, did you bully Ro? Yes, I'm sharing, but I didn't bully her. I've added you on WeChat. Hurry up and accept it. I need to have a serious talk with you. You're insane. Get lost. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Lin Ro's boyfriend. Jang Jun is a total scumbag. He's dating Lin Ro, but whenever he sees a pretty girl, he asks for her WeChat. He's tried to add me on WeChat 10 times before, and I've rejected him every time. Then he turned to Lin Ro and said, I added him on WeChat 10 times, but he rejected me. Lin Ro angrily came to confront me, asking why I wanted to steal her boyfriend. After I presented evidence and thoroughly exposed her, she started to gaslight herself. Jang Jun said he was afraid he couldn't contact me, so he wanted to add you on WeChat. If you don't want to add him, fine. It's no big deal. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Lin Ro finally returned. She also brought back a quilt. As soon as she returned, Lin Ro began to carefully fold the quilt. Someone sent a message in the grade group chat. Damn, who took the blanket I hung out to dry? What am I supposed to cover myself with tonight? What kind of blanket right now? I'm filled with a sense of justice. Lin Ruru probably brought back someone else's blanket. Blue floral quilt. It's the quilt that Lin Ruru brought back. I walked over, took a photo, and sent it to the group chat. I caught a glimpse of the message Lin Ruru sent to her boyfriend. This quilt is actually made of silk. Lin Ruru saw me taking a photo and loudly questioned me. Sharing, what are you trying to do? I raised my eyebrows, my eyes filled with helplessness. Lin Ruru, is this your blanket? Why did you bring someone else's blanket back? Lai Yan and Xiao Hui also saw the message in the group chat. Li Yan said, someone in the group said, it's someone else's blanket. I remember you didn't go to hang your blanket out this morning either. Xiao Hui, yeah, don't you only have one blanket? Seeing us meddling. Lin Ru got flustered and snapped. Wei went to hang it out this morning. I just remembered wrong. Watishi will go return it to her right now. After saying that, she took the blanket and went out. When she came back, she was holding a small, smelly blanket. Look, I hung out a blanket today. I just remembered wrong. I didn't mean to take someone else's stuff. You've wronged me. You need to apologize to me. Unable to hold back any longer, we burst out laughing. It was a car floor mat. Lin Ruru saw us laughing and glared at us fiercely, a hint of hatred flashing in her eyes. The instructor complained in the group chat, who took the carpet from my car. The dog peed on it, and I haven't had time to wash it yet. I can't believe this idiot, since there was dog urine. We all left Lin Ro alone, letting her keep the little blanket company. When she went to bed that night, she spread the blanket on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep, and suddenly sat up. Who wet the bed? It's stinking me out. No one paid any attention. Lin Ro got up and walked to our bedside, reaching out to flip through my mattress, wanting to check each one, but I scolded her back. The smell of urine is coming from your side. Impossible. I haven't wet the bed since I was 10. It must be one of you who wet the bed. Lin Ro picked up her phone, ready to complain to her boyfriend, when she suddenly saw the group message. That's when I realized it was dog urine. I threw the blanket off the balcony in disgust and stopped making a fuss. It was just a pity for the counselor's dog. Without the blanket, it had nowhere to pee and reportedly became almost depressed. Soon, I received all my certificates of academic excellence, 3 Good Student Awards, and Outstanding Student Leadership Honors. Seeing this, Lin Rura hopped over to me, shuring, I want to see your certificate. After getting it, Lin Ruru started pushing her luck. Can you lend it to me for half a day? I want to use it to take photos and post on my social media. I think it looks impressive. In my previous life, she borrowed my 680.6 score report to post on her social media in the same way. Then, when she returned to the dormitory that night, she said she forgot where she had put the score report after taking the photos. As a result, my transcript was lost and cannot be reissued this time. Without a word, I snatched it directly. No, I hate fraud the most. Lin Ro was startled, her eyes turning red. I don't mean anything else. I just want to keep it as a memento. Her good friend Song Yuan passed by and began to stand up for Lin Ruru. Just lend it for a photo. Why be so stingy? Song Yuan ranked 3rd in the class this time. If you want to keep a memento, why use mine? You should use Song Yuan's. Isn't she your good friend? Lin Ru turned her head, her eyes red as she looked at Song Yuan. Song Yuan suddenly felt a bit flustered. Although she and Lin Ruru were nominally good friends, she was well aware of what kind of person Lin Ruru was. I'm only in 3rd place. After saying that, she picked up her backpack and prepared to leave. I reached out and stopped her. 3rd place is still excellent. Don't you also have the Arts Award? That suits Lin Ruru's temperament even better. You're not reluctant to lend it to Lin Ruru, are you? Upon hearing this, Lin Ruru's eyes lit up and she stared intently at Song Yuan. I continued to stir things up. Aren't you 2 best friends? Lin Ruru chimed in from the side. When? Just lend it to me for a photo. I'll return it to you tonight. Suin had no way out and reluctantly took out the certificate of honor. Just handed it to Lin Ro, then quickly pulled it back. Ro, maybe I can help you take the photo. Lin Ro snatched it away. Your photos are so ugly. I don't want you to take them. I want my boyfriend to take them. Lin Ro hopped away with the certificate in hand. S. Yuan shot me a fierce glare, and I left with a smile, my backpack slung over my shoulder. When I returned in the evening, Only one of the two certificates of honor remain as expected. Lin-Ru had forgotten about that arts award certificate. Song Yuan rushed into our dorm, her face flushed with anger, and confronted Lin-Ru. Lin-Ru, where did you put my certificate of honor? I need it for the competition registration later. Lin-Ru spoke in a sweet, affected tone. When one, I'm sorry, my memory is not good. I really don't remember where I left it. Song Yuan didn't believe her and started rummaging through Lin-Ru's backpack, but found nothing. She could only squat on the dormitory floor in despair and cry. After crying for a while, she suddenly remembered something and ran up to me, shamelessly starting to blame me. It's all your fault. Suring if you had lent it to Lin-Ru, my certificate wouldn't have been lost. I chuckled softly. How could it be? Lost? There are surveillance cameras everywhere now. Song Yuan's eyes widened, a glimmer of hope flashing in them. That very night, she rushed to the surveillance room to check the footage. It was Lin-Ru who had folded the arts award certificate and tucked it into her own pocket before taking it away. By the time Song Yuan came back to find Lin-Ru, her award certificate was already lying in Lin-Ru's trash can. When I'm sorry, I didn't remember that your award certificate was in my pocket. I thought it was scrap paper, so I tore it up and threw it away. The two of them completely fell out. Song Yuan posted about Lin-Ru on her social media circle for a month, using different captions every day to criticize her. She kept submitting posts to the confession wall to criticize Lin-Ru. Lin-Ru just innocently replied below, I just have a bad memory. I didn't mean to. A few days later, I made it into the National College English competition to compete. I specifically bought a set of formal clothes. In my previous life, while I was at the library studying, Lin-Ru used my white shirt to wipe the toilet, saying she thought it was a rag. She didn't remember I had bought new clothes. My white shirt was clearly hanging on the balcony to dry, and it was brand new. How could it possibly look like a rag? Later, with no time to buy a new one, I had to wear a white t-shirt underneath and hastily participated in the competition this time. I deliberately hung a very expensive white shirt on the balcony, then grabbed my backpack and headed to the library. When I returned to the dorm, Lin-Ru was vigorously scrubbing the toilet with my white shirt. The toilet brush was jabbing at my white shirt, rubbing it against the yellow-black stains around the toilet rim. Seeing me return, Lin-Ru said triumphantly, Suring, I thought the toilet was dirty today, so I used a rag to clean it. Look how clean it is. I nodded, and Lin-Ru's face lit up with a triumphant expression. I walked to the balcony and pretended to be shocked as I spoke. Lin-Ru, have you seen my white shirt? I need it for the competition tomorrow. Lin-Ru shook her head. No, I only saw a rag on the balcony. I stared wide-eyed at the shirt, stained with yellow marks. This is my shirt. Lin-Ru put on a gloating expression. Sorry, Suring, I didn't remember you bought new clothes. I thought it was a rag and threw it on the balcony floor. What are you going to do about tomorrow's competition? Will it be affected? I sat down at my seat with a serious expression. Lin-Ru continued to chatter on. I sent the order screenshot to Lin-Ru. That was a 5,000 yuan shirt. Lin-Ru suddenly felt a bit scared. Sharing, your shirt is that expensive. Lin-Ru was directly scared to tears. I don't know who gave her the idea, but after she stopped, she insisted that it was my shirt that had fallen on the floor. That's why she used the shirt as a rag. It was all my fault. Her only mistake was being too clean and hardworking. Lin-Ru pretended to be calm as she accused me. I wasn't angry. I pulled out a video and sent it to her. In the video, Lin-Ru, seeing that I had left, sneaked over to the balcony, took down the shirt I had hung up to dry, and stomped on it twice. She muttered with disgust, Let's see how you compete in the contest. Then he kicked my shirt into the dormitory watching the video. Lin-Ru finally couldn't hold back and began to wail. Suring, I'm sorry. I really didn't know the shirt was so expensive. I asked coldly, so if it were cheap, you could treat my clothes like this. The shirt costs over 5,000 yuan. Pay me back within 3 days, or you'll have the police coming for you. Lin Ru's eyes were red, but I caught a flicker of murderous intent in her gaze. The next day, I wore my backup outfit to the competition and smoothly took first place. When I returned to the dorm, I overheard Lin Ruru calling Jang Jun to borrow money. I've spent so much on you before. Can you at least lend me a 000 first? Ro, I really don't have any money lately. I found a way to make money online. Want me to share it with you? What method? Just take a photo and you can get a loan. You can pay it back once you get your living expenses from your parents. Lin Ruru borrowed 10,000 yuan through an online nude loan, repaid me 5,000 and used the other 5,000 to prepare a birthday gift for Jang Jun. During those days, Jang Jun called her frequently, always using a low, husky voice to call her Rob. On Zhang Jun's birthday, Lin Ruru went out drinking with him. In the previous life, it was on this very night Lin Ruru brought the drunk Zhang Jun back to our dorm. In the evening, I invited both Li Yan and Xiao Hai out. When the time was about right, I let the two of them return to the dorm. I deliberately recorded a video of the three of us having a meal together, and we sang songs all the way back to the dorm in the evening. In the video, we open the door and catch a whiff of alcohol. On Lin Ro's bed lies a person tightly wrapped in a blanket. If you don't look closely, it's really hard to tell who it is. In our previous life, it was after we fell asleep that Lin Ro brought Jang Jun into the dormitory, wrapped in a blanket. I casually asked at the time, Lin Ruru, have you been drinking? Lin Ru responded casually, yeah, it's Jang Jun's birthday, so we had a bit to drink. Lai Yan, why aren't the lights on? No need. I'll just change and go to sleep. You all should get to bed soon. After a while, Lin Ru's soft moans could be heard, but we didn't pay much attention and soon fell back asleep. When we woke up the next day, Jun, shirtless, was standing in the middle of the dormitory. He was leering and turning in circles as he looked us over, a sleazy grin on his face. Zaiwai let out a scream. A lot of people came over to see what was going on, only to discover there was a guy in our dorm. Lin Ruru ran over from Song Yuan's dorm, her face full of apology. Sorry, everyone. My boyfriend drank too much last night and didn't go back to his school. I was planning to take him away early this morning, but I forgot and slept until now. It's all my fault for having such a bad memory. Forgetting something so important, Lin Ruru said, tears streaming down her face in sorrow. Jang Jun immediately stepped forward, pulling Lin Ru into his arms. My dear Robo, don't cry. I didn't do anything to them. What's the big deal about just sleeping in the same dorm for one night? Lin Rura suddenly stopped crying and nodded with a smile. My boyfriend doesn't think much of you either, so don't get any ideas. I'm going to have him leave right now. After saying that, she prepared to leave with Jang Jun. Lian quickly stepped in front of the door, blocking their way. He walked over, grabbed Lin Ro's hair, and slapped her hard several times. Then she started fighting with Lin Ro. Jang Jun wanted to step in to help, but was stopped by Li Yan and Xiao Hui. The three of them started cursing at each other. During the fight, Lin Ro felt a flower pot on the balcony, picked it up, and threw it at my head, taking advantage of my dizziness. She pushed me down the stairs. Watching me fall, Lin Ru curled her lips smugly. Who told you to stand out so much? What does it matter if you're rich and good at studying? You're still going to die, aren't you? Before I died, my heart was filled with hatred. I will definitely pay back this grudge tenfold. Li Yan and Xiao Hui wanted to speak, but I stopped them. I approached with my phone in hand and had Lin turn on the light. The blanket continued to twist and turn with Lin Ro's panting sounds coming from inside. It took a long time for the two people under the blanket to realize someone had entered. Lin Ro poked her head out, and there was clearly another person lying beside her. You're not in the dorm. I thought you three were already asleep. I curled the corner of my mouth. What's this next to you? You're not hiding someone, are you? The school doesn't allow bringing friends to stay in the dorm. Lin Ruru smoothed her hair. Of course not. It's a doll I bought. As soon as she finished speaking, Lian walked over and pulled back the blanket. Yong Yun Lei Le Bao Shistel. Lai Yen was startled. Holy, it's a guy. My phone immediately zoomed in, capturing Lin Ruru and Zhang Jun clearly. Lin Ruru screamed. Ah, Li Yen, why did you pull off someone else's blanket? You put your phone down. Li Yen covered her mouth in shock. Didn't you often pull my blanket off before? I wasn't angry either. Lin Ruru, furious and flustered, hurriedly put on her clothes and tried to pull Zhang Jun away. Li Yen, Xiao Hai and I exchanged glances, then immediately left the dormitory and locked the door. The counselor and the grade director rushed overnight, and a large crowd of curious students had already gathered around. I quickly showed the video I had taken to the counselor and the director, and both of them were so angry they nearly coughed up blood. Lin Ruru was required to take a leave of absence from school for bringing an outside male student into the campus without permission and even into the girls' dormitory. To appease the three of us, the school arranged for us to have single rooms with private bathrooms. The three of us could choose to directly secure a spot for graduate studies at our own university. Li Yen and Xiao Hui accepted, but I declined because I had long wanted to leave this place. A few days later, a classmate forwarded several photos of Lin Ro to the grade chat. There were photos of Lin Ro holding her ID card while not wearing any clothes. It is said that because she couldn't repay the loan, Lin Ro's photos were posted online. Seeing this, Zhang Jun immediately kicked Lin Ro. Zhang Jun's school was very poor and didn't care about the students' lives at all. So this incident had no effect on Zhang Jun. Zhang Jun continued to live a carefree campus life. When Lin Ro begged Zhang Jun to come back for the 10th time, Zhang Jun bluntly said, I find you embarrassing. Stay away from me from now on, or my girlfriend will be upset. Lin Ro brought an expensive breakup gift to give to Zhang Jun. Finally managing to arrange a meeting with him after meeting Zhang Jun, Lin Ro took out a knife and stabbed him in the heart. One strike, one kill. The news was quickly suppressed by the school before being taken away. Lin Ruru cried in front of the camera, saying, Why is fate so unfair? My roommate is both beautiful and smart, and her family is wealthy, while my family is just average. And even my boyfriend is a scumbag. If there is a next life, I will make everyone pay. 2 months later, Lin Ruru was executed, and I have already received the admission letter from a foreign university, ready to continue my undergraduate studies abroad. Li Yan and Xiao Hui can relax without worry. As long as they pass, they can directly secure a spot for graduate school later, just when I thought I could finally start a brand new life. Opening my eyes, Lin Ruru tearfully spoke up, sharing, I'm sorry, I made a mistake entering your score. Lin Ruru said, suddenly showing a smile, looking at the scene before me. My heart suddenly tightened after hearing the second story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. 7 years after giving birth to me, my mother realized that her second marriage life was not good. She began to miss the child she had with her ex-husband, jealous that her ex-husband is too good to his new girlfriend. Feeling sorry for the child she had with her ex-husband who has no mother, to the point where she started finding everything about her father displeasing. Even when looking at me, her eyes could flash with disgust. Finally, when I was 10 years old, she got an opportunity. My father died while he was away on a business trip. After the funeral, she threw me 100,000 yuan from my father's compensation money. From today on, don't call me mom anymore. I am not your mother. You are not allowed to come looking for me either. I'm going back to find my daughter, and from now on, I have nothing to do with you." After that, she reached out to hail a taxi and left home. Watching her retreating figure, I neither cried nor made a scene. Clutching the bank card she had left me, I ran to the furniture store and found the woman from the northeast wearing a mink coat. "Auntie, I have AH100 red, 000 yuan. Can I hire you to be my mother for 10 years? Inside the furniture mall, a woman wearing a mink coat was smiling warmly as she attended to customers. "Sir, our furniture is made from pure oak and crafted by hand. Once you step out of our door, you won't be able to find furniture of the same quality for the same price anywhere else." The hand holding the bank card trembled slightly. I want to rush in right now and ask the woman to be my mom, but I don't dare. The teacher said that when adults are working, children shouldn't disturb them. So, I curled up in the corner by the furniture store. A chilly drizzle began to fall in the distance. I tugged at the down jacket my mom had discarded, which I was wrapped in, but I was still cold. Yet, my heart felt warm. This also reminds me of the day I encountered the woman wearing a mink coat. At that time, my mother was selecting a birthday gift for my sister whom I had never met. A 300 yuan doll. She bought it without a second thought. A 580 yuan rotating music box. She insisted on having it, and I had only lightly touched the labubu placed on the counter. My mother then slapped the back of my hand. "Useless thing. Didn't I tell you not to touch things randomly? What if you get it dirty?" My hand hurt from my mother's slap, and even a red mark swelled up on the back of it. But I still forced myself to suppress my fear and whispered, "Mom, I want this laboba, too." Labubu was the birthday gift my mom promised me for my 6th birthday. But now I'm already 10 years old, and Mom still hasn't given it to me. She has bought many gifts for that sister I've never met. From smart watches to pink bicycles and now dolls and music boxes. Whatever my sister wants, Mom buys it the next day and sends it to her. But every time I cautiously asked my mom when she would buy me my labu, Mom would become particularly impatient and furious. Buy all you know is buying. Do you think my money grows on trees?" Actually, at that time, I really didn't understand. Every time Mom calls my sister treats her poorly. And even after hanging up, Mom would still cry in pain. But why does Mom still tirelessly try to please my sister when I was young and didn't understand things? Every time I saw Mom cry, I would rush over and carefully reach out to wipe the tears from her. Cheeks then in a childish voice would say, "Mom, my sister doesn't love you, but I love you." But every time my mother would angrily push me away. "Get out of here. If it weren't for you, my daughter wouldn't have stopped loving me." After that, she would return to her room in agony, slamming the door shut. Then her hysterical cries would echo from inside the room. And every time my mom cried inside the house, I would also cry silently outside. After all, the body that was pushed down by my mom really hurts sometimes. I also think it would have been better if I hadn't been born. After all, it was because Mom and Dad as teacher and student had an affair while still married that I was conceived. And that's why Mom was divorced by her ex-husband. If I hadn't been born, maybe Mom wouldn't be so sad. So, I became increasingly cautious, increasingly reluctant to make Mom angry. But no matter what I did, Mom still grew tired of me. For example, right now, when my mom heard that I had the audacity to want a labu, she slapped me hard across the face. "Do you know how much a labubu costs? 58 yuan. Such an expensive toy. Do you even deserve to play with it?" Seeing the disgust on my mom's face, I could only clench the hem of my clothes tightly. My face hurt from the slap, and my head was even buzzing from the impact. But I dared not cry, afraid of being beaten by my mother again. After all, for as long as I can remember, whenever my mother was in a bad mood, she would hit me if she told me to sweep the floor, and I didn't do it cleanly enough. She would slap me across the face. "You fool! You can't even sweep the floor properly. You're not half as good as your sister." If I didn't get first place when I went to school, my mother would slap me across the face. "Idiot, is my money meant to be wasted like this? Your sister can easily score 100 just by moving her pen, and you can only manage 98. Every time my mother hit me, I didn't dare to speak or make a fuss after all. As long as I made a fuss, Mom would only grow angrier. She would pick up anything at hand and hit me even more fiercely. A clothes hanger on the sofa, the belt my dad left on the couch, whatever she could grab, she would use to beat me every time. I would end up wailing from her blows, but the louder I cried, the harder my mother would hit me. Later on, I learned to behave, even if Mom beat me until I bled. I wouldn't cry because, as long as I didn't cry, Mom would become less and less angry, and she would let me go. Just like now, I instinctively knelt down. "Mom, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Mom, I don't want the labo anymore. Please don't hit me." Yet, for some reason, Mom only grew angrier. She rushed over furiously and slapped me across the face once more. "You idiot. You good for nothing. Just like your father. You're only here to hurt me. What are you kneeling for now? You just want to embarrass me, don't you?" My ears were ringing, and I couldn't hear what my mother was saying clearly. Something even started flowing out of my ears. I reached up to touch it. It was blood, but I didn't dare show my fear. I could only hold back my tears and shake my head vigorously to prove it to my mother. It wasn't like that. I didn't want to embarrass her, but she had once told me that if you do something wrong, you must kneel down and apologize. Yet, for some reason, my mother's expression grew increasingly furious, so furious that it frightened and terrified me. Sure enough, the next moment, my mother grabbed my hair tightly. "Get up. I order you to get up right now." Immediately, the scalp being pulled by my mother's grip on my hair hurt terribly. But what scared me even more was the anger on her face. In the past, whenever my mother wore that expression, I would be beaten badly that day. The worst time was when my entire body was covered in broken skin and bloody marks out of fear. A sudden warmth spread from my lower body, and despair instantly flooded my mind. Mom hates it most when I wet myself. But what can I do? I really can't control myself. The tears I had been holding back just fell like that. Sure enough, when my mom saw the liquid flowing from the bottom of my pant leg, she instantly showed a horrified expression. "You actually wet yourself. You actually wet yourself in public." As she spoke, my mother reached out her hand, about to slap me across the face once more. My heart tightened sharply, and even my body felt as if it were frozen in place just as I was trembling. With fear, a deep, resonant woman's voice came from behind me. "Get lost, you piece of trash. Abusing a child right out in the open like this." The next moment, I was swept into the arms of a tall woman wearing a mink coat. Her hair smelled wonderful, and though I was still trembling, her strong arms wrapped around me gave me a sense of security I had never felt before. Watching me being held by the woman in the mink coat, my mother gritted her teeth and snapped at her. "What business is it of yours how I discipline my child?" But my mom had just finished speaking. The woman holding me with one hand rushed over and directly slapped my mom. "Is this how you discipline a child? Let me show you how much it hurts." My mom's face instantly swelled up, turning a bright red. She gritted her teeth and glared at the woman. "You hit me. What gives you the right to hit me?" The woman glanced at me. "Because I'm a mother and I can't stand to see someone abuse a child." As soon as the woman finished speaking, the onlookers around chimed in. "Exactly. That's no way to teach a child. I'm telling you, you could go to jail for that. Yes, yes, yes. Call the police right away. Let the police teach her a proper lesson on how to be a mother." My mother's face flushed red with anger. She walked over, pulled me out of the woman's arms, and scolded me in a low, furious voice. "You shameless thing! Hurry up and come with me." As she spoke, she gripped me tightly and tried to drag me away. But the woman grabbed hold of me once again. "Daughter, let me tell you, if your mom ever hits you like she did before, you should learn from me and give her a good slap. You're 10 years old now. It's time you learned how to fight." My mother's face turned livid with anger. Perhaps the memory of the woman slapping her was still too vivid, but in the end, she held back from saying anything and just dragged me away. But I took the woman's words to heart and remembered them firmly when I got back home. My mother angrily picked up a clothes hanger and was about to hit me. "You've really grown up, haven't you? Now that I'm just casually hitting you a few times, you dare to put on an act and play the victim? Let's see how I deal with you, you little liar." Today, as she spoke, she raised the clothes hanger and was about to strike me. If it were before, I would have immediately knelt down and begged my mother, praying for her to spare me, praying for her to let me go. But this time, I didn't wait for her stick to land on me. I frantically ran into my bedroom and pushed against the door with all my strength. No matter how hard my mother kicked the door, I refused to open it after staying up all night. It wasn't until the next morning that I fearfully opened the door. Only when I saw that my mom was no longer in the room did I let out a long sigh of relief. After that, it seemed like my mom and I had developed a pattern. Whenever she got angry, I would immediately hide. Sometimes I would get caught and beaten even more severely, and other times she couldn't reach me. But I was so happy. You know, in the old days, I only knew that pleasing my mother would keep me from getting beaten. Only when my mother was in a good mood would I avoid being beaten. I had to desperately belittle myself and praise my sister, whom I had never met, to avoid being beaten. But it wasn't until I met that woman wearing a mink coat that I realized there was another way I could escape my mother's beatings. That is, to escape. After that, I would often think of that woman in the mink coat every night before going to bed. My favorite thing to do was to fantasize about my mother treating me the same way she treated my sister. But now, every night before going to bed, I pray that if only that woman in the mink coat were my mother. So when my mom once again said she didn't want me, I would also stubbornly tell her, "I don't want you to be my mom either." Although each time I would get a severe beating from my mom, but I never regretted it. When my mother once again took all of my father's money to buy gifts for my sister, whom I've never met, and was unwilling to pay my 30 yuan book fee, I no longer felt sad. I secretly went to the roadside to collect empty plastic bottles to sell, saving up 1 yuan at a time to give to the teacher. I no longer showed my first place exam papers to my mother, trying to please her and prove that I was truly no worse than my sister, whom I've never met. I won't cry and beg my mom to buy me lab boo either. I won't feel that bitter, tearful ache in my heart when my mom happily holds up the clothes she bought for my sister and laughs with joy. I won't sneak into her room every day while she's asleep just to hug and kiss her. My heart aches with a dense, lingering pain from the memories. By the time I came to my senses, it was already dark and the lights in the furniture store had been turned off. A few threads of panic instantly scattered through my chest. I wanted to go home and come back tomorrow, but then I remembered that my mom had sold my dad's house, had no home anymore. Not only do I have no home, I have no clothes, no place to live after all. My mother told me when she left the 100,000 yuan she gave me was meant to sever all ties between us whether I die or live in the future. It has nothing to do with her. I crouched down again, curling up, my nose a bit stuffy from the cold wind, and snow began to drift down from the sky. This also reminded me of my childhood. Every time it snowed, my mom would buy a bunch of down jackets on Taba. I was quite foolish when I was little. From now on, if mom buys this much, there's definitely a share for me. So, I shamelessly asked, Mom, I like that pink down jacket. Can you give it to me?" Mom gave me a disdainful look. "Do you even deserve it? You little bastard. After that, she carefully stored the down jacket in the wardrobe as if guarding against a thief. The next day, she called for a courier and wrote down the address I could recite backwards. Because I was cold without a down jacket, my mother would go around the neighborhood asking if anyone had a down jacket that had become too small. Whether it's boys' clothes or girls' clothes, my mom wants them all. Once she brings them home, she'll just toss them into my room. Here, I found some clothes for you. Wear whatever you like. So, every winter I would walk around the neighborhood wearing all sorts of ill-fitting clothes. Sometimes I would run into mischievous kids. They would come right up to me and mock me. Jiang Zhen, are you a beggar? You only pick up the worn-out clothes we kids have thrown away. Every time their words would sting me to the point of tears. I wanted to say, I'm not a beggar, but I couldn't bring myself to say it. After all, my mother still had another daughter to love. She truly didn't have the money to buy me clothes, nor did she have the energy to spare even a little bit of her love for me. My heart ached again. My head felt dizzy and my body hurt so much. Just as I felt it was hard to breathe, a loud voice exploded beside my ear. Oh, why is there a child lying here? My heart instantly warmed at the sound of this loud voice I had imagined countless times. But my eyes remained tightly shut, and I could only tremble as I raised the bank card in my hand. Hey, Auntie, I have money. Can I hire you to be my mom for 10 years? When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. The loud voice was still ringing in my ears. Get lost. How can there be such a woman in the world? Her husband dies. She sells the house, leaves 100,000 yuan for her 10-year-old child, and just runs away. That kind of person deserves to be torn to pieces. Alas, we've made many phone calls, but Jiang Xian's mother changed her number, and we have no way of knowing her address. What about this child? Ms. He, thank you for your bravery. We will contact the welfare institution to have them come and pick her up. At that moment, lying in the hospital bed, my body was truly in great pain. But upon hearing the words, welfare institution, I still opened my eyes in fear. I don't want to go to the orphanage. I just want to follow this woman. Trembling and with tears streaming down my face, I said to the woman, Hey, Auntie, isn't 100,000 yuan enough to buy you as my mom? I can earn money. I can collect plastic bottles. Please don't abandon me. I beg you be my mom for 10 years. Okay, as I spoke these words, my voice was particularly choked with emotion, and because there were so many tears, whenever I opened my mouth, they would pour into it. Hearing my voice, the woman hurriedly ran over. Oh dear, my little darling, please don't cry. Do you know you almost died right outside my shop if I hadn't forgotten my phone charger and come back to the shop? You really would have been gone. All right, don't cry. Andy promises you I won't send you to the orphanage just yet. As she spoke, the woman looked up at the police officer. Officer, I feel like it's fate that brought us together. Before we can contact her mother, why don't you let me take care of her? I've never seen such a pitiful child. When I changed her clothes earlier, the bruises on her body, even as an adult, it hurt just to look at them. The police officer glanced at me before turning his attention to the woman. All right, Ms. E. I'll leave her in your care for now. Okay, thank you, officer. With that, the police officer left the hospital room, and I was finally able to openly turn my gaze to the woman's face. Seeing me look at her, the woman immediately smiled. Thirsty? Let me get you some warm water to moisten your lips. The doctor said, You can't drink water yet. As she spoke, the woman picked up a cup, took a cotton swab, and carefully placed it on my lips. The cotton swab was soft and warm. Only after the woman put down the cotton swab did I grip the blanket tightly and ask solemnly, Auntie, I've caused you trouble, haven't I? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. As she spoke, 2 more streams of tears slid down the corners of her eyes. The woman patted my head. All right, all right. Don't cry. Auntie isn't troubled. Really not troubled. You should rest for a bit. Auntie will call Uncle and make some delicious food to bring over. Okay. I really wanted to speak again, but I couldn't hold back my tears, not wanting to bother the woman. I did as she said and started to sleep when I woke up again. It was already evening. Besides, there was also a handsome man and another man sitting in the room. You want to take her back home? Teaching a child isn't like raising a kitten. I know you saw it, too. How pitiful she is. That child we ran into at the mall last time was also her. Didn't you say that child was pitiful last time, too? Even if this child finds her mother, I doubt her life will be easy. You didn't see the wounds on her body, layer upon layer, all scabbed over with dried blood. I really can't bear it. Our family's financial situation is decent now, and she is already in middle school. How about we treat it as having a second child? I'm not saying we have to adopt her right away. Let's just bring her home and see how it goes. The man seemed somewhat reluctant and didn't say anything. The boy sitting beside the two suddenly said, I've run into this little girl many times. Back when we were in school, I'd often see her hiding outside our shop, peeking in at us. At the time, I thought she was a child from the shop next door, so I didn't think much of it. Now that I think about it, she must have been watching you ever since you helped her. But over the past year or so, she's never bothered us. I suppose she must have been truly desperate to come find us now. Oh, and do you remember that time a thief broke into our shop? Someone suddenly called the police, and the thief was caught red-handed. Do you think it could have been this kid who reported it? As soon as the boy finished speaking, the woman immediately raised her voice and said, Hey, don't say that. I asked the police back then who called them, and they said it was a child's voice. It must have been her. Honey, come on. This isn't just a child. This is our family savior. The man stood up irritably. You two, mother and son, just keep making trouble. After saying that, the man left the hospital room, and I, who had been clenching my fists tightly, finally relaxed my grip. The next moment, the boy walked over to me and flicked his finger against my forehead. All right, kid, stop pretending to sleep. I know you were eavesdropping. My heart tightened sharply, and I trembled as I opened my eyes. But the next moment, tears welled up and rolled down my cheeks. I'm sorry. I've caused trouble for you. The woman hurried over and wiped away my tears with a tissue. All right. Don't talk about trouble or not trouble. You're still so young. What do you know about trouble? If you really don't want to trouble us, then hurry up and get better so you can leave the hospital. I tried my best to hold back my tears. Good. After that, I stayed at Auntie's house. When I was discharged from the hospital and returned to Auntie's home, I saw the entire room filled with dolls in the second bedroom. My tears almost welled up again, and he looked at me. I didn't know what you young girls like, so I asked T to pick it out at the mall. He's a typical straight guy and doesn't know what you young girls like either, so I'm not sure if his choice suits your taste. With tears welling up in my eyes, I walked over and picked up the Laboo doll on the bed. I really like it. I love it so much. Thank you, Auntie. And he walked over and patted my head. Be good now. Don't cry over every little thing from now on. No one here will hit you anymore. You can live here without worry. And if you need anything, just tell Auntie. As she spoke, and he directly raised the bank card in her hand. See, didn't you give me the money? Auntie will keep it. Safe for you. From now on, whatever you need, Auntie will buy it for you using the money from here. Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded. Good. After that, I stayed at Auntie's house. During the day, I went to school. After school, I returned home to cook. After that, I would carry the lunchbox to deliver meals to Aunt He and Uncle He. Sometimes when Aunt He and Uncle He had to go to the factory to pick up goods, I would sit in the living room with the lights on, waiting for Brother He to come home. Every time I looked at the scattered light in the living room, would cry tears of happiness. I have a home now, too. And every time, brother, he comes back from evening self-study and sees me, he gets particularly irritable. You're just a kid. You should be sleeping. What are you waiting for me for? And why are you cooking for us? We can put on our own slippers. You don't need to get them ready for us every time. We can also do our own laundry. You don't need to wash our clothes. Every time, brother, he says these things, his eyebrows slightly lift. I always find it amusing. I even agree with him readily. But the next day was still the same because I knew that and he hadn't used a single cent for my bank card. Now what I eat is provided by Aunt He. What I wear is provided by Aunt He, and what I use is still provided by Aunt He. Uncle He, on the other hand, was neither warm nor cold toward me. But in my eyes, he was already very, very good. After all, my dad was often away on business trips, and when he occasionally came home, he would either get drunk and smash things around the house, or he would argue and fight with my mom. Sometimes, when the anger couldn't be vented, my dad would kick me. Worthless. If I had known you were a dead girl back then, I would never have married your mother. Such a disgusting woman. After that, my dad would angrily leave home. So, I was afraid of Uncle He, afraid that he would send me away. But I wasn't afraid because, even though he didn't smile at me like Aunt He and brother did, he had never hit me until the day of my final exam. I carefully brought back 3 test papers, looking at the bright red 300S on them. I hesitated, unsure whether I should show these papers to Dad, He and Mom He. After all, in the past when I showed my papers to my Mom always just glanced at it and then called my sister. Xiaoyi, have your final exam results come out yet? Mom wants to ask how many points you got this time. Standing beside Mom at that time, I didn't understand. It was clearly my exam. So why was Mom asking my sister? What made me even sadder was that every time my test papers were either thrown in the trash by my mom or placed on the table to serve as a potholder, sometimes looking at the perfect score of 100, blurred by oil and soup stains, my heart would feel particularly bitter. Yet, I still chose to take out my exam papers because the teacher said they needed to be signed by a parent. I used to forge my mother's signature on my test papers myself. When the teacher first found out, she scolded me, but after she called my mother, she never asked me to have my parents sign my exam papers again. But now I want Dad, He and Mom He to sign them because I have a family now. Seeing me standing there awkwardly, Dad, He who was changing his slippers, looked at me in surprise. What's wrong? Did you not do well on the test? It's okay. Your brother once scored 30 points, and I have a good tolerance for that. Hand over the test papers, and I'll sign them for you. I bit my lip hard, and in the end I handed over the 3 test papers. The moment his dad opened the test paper, his eyes widened in instant horror. 100 points. Perfect scores in Chinese, math, and English. I nodded, somewhat puzzled, but the next moment, his dad turned around in panic and shouted toward the house. He come out quickly. Your daughter got perfect scores in all 3 subjects. His mother ran out in surprise. Let me see. As they spoke, the 2 of them studied my test papers carefully as if they were sculpting a work of art. Wow, this handwriting is so neat. It's not even on the same level as your son's chicken scratch. She's in 5th grade now, right? Damn, back when your son was in school, I hired a specialist teacher for one-on-one tutoring, and that little brat, he only managed to score 60 points for me. Your daughter hasn't spent a single penny, and she even comes home to cook for us. I never see her doing homework. So, how on earth did she get a perfect score? Listening to Head's complaints, Mom slapped Head on the head. Get lost. You jerk. Your son just inherited your family's lousy academic genes. Dad wasn't angry even after being hit by he. He walked over, took the pen from my hand, and signed his name on my test paper with great enthusiasm. This is the first time I've ever wanted to sign a test paper. After saying that, Dad turned to look at him. Mom, you go hire a nanny tomorrow to take care of the housework and cooking from now on. My daughter is meant for studying and shouldn't be held back by chores. With that, Dad walked over and took my hand. Come on, let's go as a family to pick up your brother. He from school tonight. Uncle, he will take you all out for a nice meal to celebrate you. Suddenly, having my hand held by Uncle my body stiffened slightly. It was only then that I realized how broad, how large, and how warm my father's hands were. After that, I seemed to have completely integrated into this family. When Auntie, he held my hand and took me to the storefront, some of the neighboring shop owners would tease her, asking where she had picked up a second child every time. Auntie, he would loudly retort, what do you know? She came out of my belly. What, just because I'm fat? You couldn't tell I was pregnant. That's your own blindness. And Dad is even more ruthless. What's the matter? You're too old to have kids yourself. Jealous that I have a daughter. I'll recommend an old Chinese medicine doctor for you to see. How about that? I know what Mom and Dad are trying to do. They don't want me to feel like I was picked up, inferior, or upset. But Mom and Dad didn't know that I actually didn't deserve it. The life I have now is something I lucked into. Every night before I go to sleep, I give thanks, thanking the heavens for giving me such perfect parents and an older brother. After that, I really studied hard. Even though I didn't take Olympiad math, I still managed to get into a key middle school. On the day I went to register, I tentatively suggested maybe I should live on campus. Mom immediately shot back. Don't even think about it. From now on, your dad will pick you up and drop you off. Every time I hear Mom, say your dad or your dad, my heart feels so warm. And I took the opportunity to ask if Dad picks me up. What about my brother? Your brother can go back by himself. He's already in high school. Does he still need someone to pick him up? With his lousy grades, if it weren't for his talent in drawing, he wouldn't even get into college. I pouted. Mom, don't talk about my brother like that. In my eyes, he's the most outstanding. All right. I know you all too well. You're just your brother's little sidekick. Your brother was short on money a while back, and he came to you for it, right? That good for nothing. Not focusing on his studies all day, just thinking about puppy love from morning till night. I quickly leaned in close to my mom's ear. Mom, last night I saw my brother kissing the older sister from the shop next door. Wow, really? Is that true? It's true. My brother was over the moon. All right, now that you know, just don't tell your dad. He's been really annoyed with old Jang lately. They've snatched several of our business deals recently. But when you think about it, it's not so bad. Old Jang messes with our business, and my son goes and messes with his daughter. That's a fair trade. Seeing the smile on my mother's face, I smiled along with her. After that, I got into middle school as I wished. And every night, it was my father who came to pick me up. I continued to maintain good grades, as always. On off days, I might rank around 20th or 30th in my grade. But on good days, I would be the top student in the grade. Sometimes, when I didn't do well on a test, I would feel very sad, and I was afraid that Dad, and Mom, would get angry. But every time Uncle, would pat my head. Sweetie, you're part of our family. Don't be afraid, no matter how you do on the exam. Dad and Mom love you. Every time I heard Uncle say that, my eyes would grow very warm. Later, I was successfully admitted to the best high school in the city. On the day after the entrance exam, Dad even held a banquet with 20 tables, inviting everyone in the entire city to celebrate. He was drunk and pulling me along. Let me tell you all, if anyone dares to gossip behind my back again and tell my daughter that she was picked up, don't blame old for losing his temper. My daughter Hien is a member of the Hay family in life, and she will always be a daughter of the Hay family in death. As soon as Dad finished speaking, old Jang sneered. You, Old here, just lucky. Your business is the best in our furniture market, and even your child is obedient and sensible. I'm telling you, it's only because your he family's ancestral grave is well placed that you have such a well-behaved daughter like he dad. Huh, you're just jealous. After that, everyone laughed heartily and clinked their glasses together. As I looked at the sea of bobbing heads in the hall and the banner hanging on the wall that read, "Congratulations to Hexen for being admitted to the city's best high school," I held my chopsticks and in the end couldn't hold back my silent tears. After that, I attended the best high school in the city and even made it into the top class. But I never expected to run into my mom there. She had aged quite a bit, holding a lunchbox in her hand, anxiously scanning the school entrance. I saw her many times, and on several occasions, I even walked right past her, but she never recognized me. Instead, it was Andy Hay who came to bring me food. Even though there were many students surging at the school gate, Auntie Hay could always spot me at first glance and call out to me in her loud voice, "Has hen, Mom is here." So, love and indifference are so clearly evident. After that, I simply treated my mom as a stranger I didn't know. My mom still didn't notice me until one day at noon when I was heading out to grab a meal. A female classmate in the class called out to me, "Asheen, I'm telling you, I won't let you take my guaranteed admission spot." The female classmate is named Jo E. Ever since we've been in the same class, she has constantly found fault with me. Whenever I rank first in an exam, she always raises her hand and demands to review my paper. I achieved the top rank in my grade. She always looks at me with disgust. "You think you're so great for being first in your grade, but you're just a study machine." I really don't know why she has so much hostility toward me until she stopped me at that moment. I looked at my mother standing beside her. I sneered and curled the corner of my lips. "With your ranking of 50th in the grade, you dare tell me, the top student, that I stole your guaranteed admission spot. Where is your shame?" After saying that, I couldn't be bothered to talk to her anymore and turned to leave. But the next moment, my mother rushed over and grabbed me. "You're Jang Zhen. You're Jang Zhen, aren't you? You actually got into this high school, too. This is a top-tier high school. What makes you think you deserve to be here? And on top of that, you stole my daughter's guaranteed admission spot. How dare you take her spot?" My school uniform was pulled askew by my mom. The zipper caught on my neck, tugging painfully. I glanced at Jo E., who was still wearing a provocative smile on her face, and disgustedly shook off my mom's hand. "Who are you? What does it matter to you if I got the guaranteed admission spot?" My mother instantly gritted her teeth and glared at me. "I am your mother. Whether you succeed or not is my business. Let me tell you, you are not allowed to steal Zhao Yi's guaranteed admission spot." When the words, "I am your mother," came out, I suddenly laughed. It reminded me of my childhood when she would beat me until I was covered in bruises. I was reminded of my childhood, of that night when I curled up outside Annie's shop, shivering from the cold. I thought of the day she threw me 100,000 yuan, sold my father's house, and didn't even care if I had a place to go. Can she even be considered my mother? No, she can't. At best, she's just an animal. Too lazy to talk to her. I shook her off and turned to leave, but the next moment, my wrist was tightly grabbed by her. "Jang Zhen, I'm talking to you. Where did you learn to be so rude?" Anger instantly surged in my chest. I instinctively reached out to push her away, but the next moment, a roaring voice came from behind. "Get lost, you bastard. How dare you bully my daughter?" After saying that, his mother, wearing her mink coat, rushed over angrily and gave my mother a hard shove. My mother staggered a couple of steps. "What does it have to do with you if I discipline my own daughter?" His mother retorted without a second thought. "Your daughter. This is my daughter." Then, as if remembering something, "Mrs. He. Oh, so you're the dumbass mother of our Shin Shin. I didn't come looking for you." And you actually showed up on your own as she spoke. Mrs. He rolled up her sleeves, rushed over angrily, and grabbed my mother's hair tightly, slapping her twice with a smack. Smack. I'll teach you to bully my daughter. You stupid piece of who the hell do you think you are? Back then, you abandoned the child without a second thought. And now that she's grown up, you claim Shin Shin is your daughter. Have you no shame? If I don't slap your face to a pulp today, my name isn't he? As she spoke, his mother angrily swung her large hand and slapped my mother across the face once more. My mother let out an involuntary cry of pain from the blow. Joey looked at the scene before him and sneered mockingly. After my mother was hit, she reached out to retaliate, and I watched as Andy's face was about to be scratched by my mother. Furious, I rushed over, grabbed my mother's hair, and kicked her in the butt, seeing that it was me who kicked her. My mother looked at me in disbelief. You actually hit me. I'm your mother. I immediately slapped her across the face again. You could hit me when I was little. So why can't I hit you now that I'm grown up? How dare you lay a hand on my mom? I'll kill you. That day, his mom and I beat my mother badly. Even when the school security guards arrived, they couldn't pull apart the enraged me and the furious his mom. It wasn't until the police arrived that his mother and I finally let go. Joey was originally supposed to go to the police station as well, but Joey only sneered mockingly. Why should I go to the police station? I didn't get into a fight after saying that without even glancing at my mother. She turned around and went back to school. My mother watched Joe ease back as he entered the school, her eyes brimming with a sorrow she couldn't hide. As for me, I couldn't be bothered to care about her, only anxiously looking at the scratches on Annie High's face that my mother had left. Auntie Hay held my hand. Sweetie, Mom is fine. After we went to the police station, they required someone to come and post bail before we could leave. Mrs. He immediately called Mr. He. My mother pursed her lips, trembling as she said, I have no one to bail me out. Hearing her words, I curled my lips in a mocking smile. So even after abandoning me and throwing me away, she hasn't been living well either. After all, Zhao could ignore her when she was being beaten, only caring about returning to school to study. With a child like Joey, she still had to go out of her way to please her. She deserved it. Dad. He arrived half an hour later. The police originally thought, Dad. He was rational enough and even wanted him to persuade Mom he not to act impulsively. But who knew? Dad. He walked over and kicked my mother right in the stomach. Trash. How dare you bully my wife and my daughter? I'm telling you from now on, stay far away from my daughter. If you dare bother her again, I'll beat you up every time I see you. The police were instantly stunned. My mother, clutching her stomach and curled up on the ground, looked pitiful beyond words. But I didn't even glance her way, calmly supporting Aunt He instead. Mom, Dad, let's go home. After that, my mom saw that I really never greeted her again. Instead, Joey provoked me several times in class. I heard you're an adopted child and your parents aren't your biological ones. You say, what's the use of having such good grades in school? Aren't you just the child bride raised by the He family? I looked at her face, which bore some resemblance to my mother's without a second thought. I slapped her across the face. A mouth is a good thing, but it's not meant for spewing filth. After saying that, I put down my pen and book and left the classroom. That same day, I called his father and told him that I wanted to transfer to another class after hearing the whole story from me. His father came to the school that very day. At that time, Zoe's father also came. That was the first time I met my mother's ex-husband. He glanced at me arrogantly and said, So you're the bastard she had with someone else. As soon as he finished speaking, Uncle, he punched him right in the nose. You're the one who's a piece of trash born without an asshole. The mediation failed that day, and his father and that man even ended up in the police station again after getting into a physical fight when his mother received the call from the police and rushed over panting heavily. She didn't hesitate to slap that man across the face. I gave you face, and you dared to bully my daughter and my man just as his mother's action ended. My brother ran into the police station, seeing him still holding a golf club in his hand. The police were almost scared to death. I quickly rushed over to stop my brother. What's wrong with your family? All you ever do is resort to violence. I quickly stepped in front of my brother. You're a police officer, but you still can't talk about my mom, dad, and brother. The police were probably so angry their chests hurt. They gave us a note to go to the hospital for a checkup. We paid the bail, and they quickly let us leave. On the way back, I was very upset, crying and apologizing to Uncle He and Auntie He, saying I had caused trouble. But Uncle He just smiled and patted my head. Girl, that's the way to do it. Your biological mother's side is all a mess. If you show any weakness, she'll latch onto you. The bigger scene we make, the less likely they'll dare to come looking for you in the future. Sure enough, from then on, Zayoi never dared to provoke me again. Even my mother would slightly turn her head away every time she saw me, pretending not to notice me. In the end, I didn't even have to change classes. It was Zhao Yi who ended up transferring. The teacher was exceptionally direct, saying I was Chinua material, and she couldn't give up on a potential Chinua student for the sake of a 985 university candidate. After that, my life returned to its usual calm, and as I had hoped, I was admitted to Chinua University. On the day I received the admission letter, Dad, he once again put up a banner at the storefront, celebrating Hexion's admission to Chinua University. On the day of the school awards ceremony, besides speaking on stage, I also knelt down and kowtowed 3 times in front of the entire school, including my dad, he and mom, he thanking them for giving me a new life. Just as I was leaving the school with my award certificate, my mom suddenly showed up. She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. Jiang Zhen, I'm sorry. Mom is so sorry. I turned my head away in disgust. Get lost. You're disgusting. After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you like this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.